Hello and welcome to Lyric Hi-Fi. We've had a bit of a summer break and haven't done a video for a little while, but manufacturers have been busy with new products, so we have lots of new things to tell you about over the next few weeks. So first of all, housekeeping. Press the buttons, subscribe, like, all that kind of thing. Subscribing doesn't cost you anything. It just means you get a message whenever I decide to sound off about something else. So what are we going to sound off about today? Well, today we're talking about new Rega amplification. Ta-da! Rega amplification. So Rega have 6 levels of amplifier, but if you can count past 5, you can see that there's only 5 in front of you. That's because the 6th one, called the Osiris, which is the top of the range at a mere £7,500, I actually loaned to a guy to have a listen to, and haven't got it back yet. So we have 5 amplifiers to talk about. The one that's open here is the new one in this range, which is called the Elicit Mk5. So we'll give an overview first of all of this. We go from the IO, the baby, little 30-watt amplifier, which is £420 in the UK. And works really well. Next one up is the Brio. The Brio is £699 and sells for, it's 50 watts per channel. Great amplifier that's been on the market for quite a few years. Next one up from this jumps up in power again to about 75 watts, and that is the Rega Elex, which is, or Elex-r, to give it its full name, which is £1,045. And then this is the new Elicit Mk5, which is actually £2,000. Well, if you give me £2,000, I give you £1 back. It's the hi-fi industry, so it's $19.99. And then this is the Aethos. The Aethos came out a couple of years ago. Fantastic amplifier, built like the proverbial brick outhouse, really solidly put together, and it's about 150 watts per channel, something like that, and it costs £3,300. So I just glibly went on about the power outputs of these, and I think I should actually say a little bit more about that, because usually watts per channel I think is a load of rubbish and it doesn't really tell you an awful lot. The reason why I might tell you in the context of a Rega amplifier is because if you compare output power from one brand where it is measured in the same way, then those power figures make sense. But whenever you compare 2 different brands that measure them differently, it means nothing and you can't tell anything from it. Watts per channel, let me see, how do you explain that? It's a measure of heat, but it actually is measured differently if you have it into a loudspeaker that's 4 ohms, smaller load, higher power, and 8 ohm, normal load, lower power. Some manufacturers measure it into 6 ohms, a different measurement again. Some manufacturers measure it at 1 kilohertz, just at 1 kilohertz. That will be a bigger figure than if you measure it from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz right across the frequency band. The thing is, you have got all these different parameters. So when people say, oh, amplifier X from this company is more powerful than this one, I don't know what it is. They just give it a different number. And manufacturers and their advertisers and their marketing departments are very good at manipulating figures so that what you actually end up with bears no relation to what it sounds like, which is why I normally leave it out. However, if you want to play the game, then you can go 30, 50, 75, 105, 100, oh, this one's 2 million, so it must be better. And actually, it may or may not be better. Who really knows? Anyway, back to the Elicit Mk5. This, I thought I'd open up so that you could see what is inside an amplifier. This part is a really big transformer. This is the part that gets the whole power and delivers your current. It's also extremely heavy. There are some amplifier manufacturers now that don't believe in these. They've got a thing called a switched mode power supply that can be, they say is better, can be worse, but this is a traditional way of making an amplifier, and these are the smoothing capacitors. These used to be the size of baked bean cans in some amplifiers, but basically capacitors now can be much smaller with much more power or much more capacity. So these are 4,700 microfarads each. if that means anything to you. And basically, this is like the battery in your phone. This is the power reservoir. So when somebody hits a drum, bang, you need that power instantly. The more capacitive storage you have, the better that is. So that's that bit about it. The amplifier is a very high quality phono stage, which is tucked away in the corner here, away from all the other bits. So that's all the very low voltage stuff, kept away from the high voltage stuff. And then the actual output transistors are actually mounted along inside here and here, your two channels, so that the entire case, which is really solid and heavy, becomes the heat sink to dissipate the heat that is generated by something that, you know, is capable of in excess of 100 watts per channel of real 120, 105, 100, depends how you measure, 105, 120 watts per channel, somewhere about there. And in between here, you've got all the switching and then the first preamplifier stage here beside where the volume is. Now, that's all very good, and that's what an amplifier looks like. If you want me to talk about amplifiers and how they're designed, I can do a bit more of that. But one thing in this amplifier has never been in a Rega amplifier before, which is this little bit. Because this little bit is a digital to analog converter. And Rega are well known for making most products that are analog only. However, they do make very good digital analog converters separately. They do have digital analog converters in their range of CD players. And so they have a lot of expertise going back many years. So why did they put a digital to analog converter inside an amplifier? Well, firstly, because they could, and maybe a few years ago it was much larger and it would be more difficult. And secondly, because with the advent of streaming, and a lot of people using Bluetooth adapters, a lot of people putting TVs through systems. The fact that you can now have a digital optical and a digital coaxial input to this means this is a much more than a standard analog amplifier. So if you've got a system where you've got your TV in the middle, TVs no longer have analog outputs, and you've got an amplifier underneath with your streamer and a pair of speakers, the way that's all set up, it's dead easy that you just take the output of your TV, put it straight into the Rega. The digital analog conversion is really high quality and your TV will sound great through your speakers. Also, people buying streamers, and a lot of maybe some of the cheaper streamers don't have decent digital analog converters. This would be better. So you can put in something like that and it opens up a whole world of music to that. You can even put in, there's a company makes like a Bluetooth adapter for like 30 quid, and you can go digitally into that and improve the sound. You can just run Spotify from it and do all of that, and all your radio stations, your BBC Sounds, all of that, this kind of thing. So there are a lot of opportunities for this to be used in lots of different inputs. So that's lots about that, and it's great that it's £2,000, but what do you get for your £2,000 really apart from all this? Well, that's got to be down to the sound, because the previous version of this was £1,670. Everything's gone up in price a bit, plus you got the digital analog converter, and this is now $19.99. Whenever you listen to this, this will drive amplifiers and have, drive speakers and have a great grip over controlling the speaker. All this power and current capability is to control the amplifier cones moving forward and backwards to give you a precise reconstruction of what was fed into it. So you need a good source, but a good source into this, the sound of this amplifier is fantastic. Now, the reason why I brought this one along and put this one, because I did talk about this before, the Aethos £3,300 has been reviewed and people have said it's better than amplifiers which are an order of magnitude more expensive, and the new Elicit is like a stripped down version of this. It's not as good, but it has elements of that smooth, effortless power that the bigger brothers have. So this is a hearty recommendation for this. Go and have a listen to one, compare it to other things at the price, and you won't be disappointed. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I hope you'll go along and check it out. If you want to come along to Lyric Hi-Fi in Belfast and check it out, give me a buzz and I'll hook one up for you and we'll get you sorted out. Excellent product, and one we'll be enjoying for many years. Thank you for watching. Again, subscribe and we'll be in touch soon. Thank you for watching.